Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Streakin'. It has been a while since I've done one of these, but we are finally back. It is September 1st. We are officially in the hunt for the playoffs. It's incredibly bizarre to say that. But as we all know, big news of baseball, the trade deadline was yesterday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I always think like West Coast teams, unfair advantage. The trade deadline's right during lunch. You can't trade on an empty stomach. That's kind of rude. But anyways, the trade deadline was yesterday. The big move, of course, was Mike Clevinger to San Diego for a big prospect haul and Josh Naylor and Cal Quantrill. I'm going to keep this episode relatively short. But the main point I want to drive home is, on Twitter, Twitter isn't real life, but we all kind of pretend it is. And everyone is very reactionary on Twitter, at least. I think in real life too. I mean, especially baseball fans, we're all pretty reactionary, but especially with trades, and especially for trades that send like a bona fide star, I would say, like Mike Clevinger, arguably a top 10 pitcher in baseball. Now, some of you may not agree with that, but look up his numbers. They're unbelievable. Like, at least top 15, all right? At least top 15. And he was sent over for, obviously, a big prospect haul. And most fans, and rightfully so, don't know the prospects going over. So, and they only recognize, like, the big name, which is Mike Clevinger, of course. The thing that bugs me, like, now part of this is just for like the likes, but saying the Indians got fleeced bugs me. It really bugs me because you don't know what these prospects are going to turn into. There's this one prospect that I didn't know much about. I was looking into a little bit though, and I mean, I'm quite excited about him. If you're a Cleveland Indians fan, I'd be quite excited for him. Joey Cantillo. I still don't really know how to pronounce his name. Let me see. Actually, I'll look it up. I'll look how to pronounce it. Gotta respect him. I know Baseball Reference doesn't have the phonetical spelling. Okay. Anyways. Well, we have to wait until he's a major league pitcher to get the phonetical spelling, I suppose. But this guy, 6'4", 220 pounds. He's a lefty. This guy does not give up home runs. His home runs per 9 is like 0.28, I believe, somewhere around there. It's under 0.5, which maybe Joey Cantillo could teach Garrett Cole a couple things, but Garrett Cole has a big home run problem. But that's the thing. Like, could Joey Cantillo turn into something? Sure. Could he be a bust? Sure. Could the Padres end up looking like the major winners of this trade, especially if they can sign Clevinger to an extension or nab him up in free agency when he's done his arbitration? Sure. But to say that Cleveland got fleeced at this point in time is ridiculous. And it's frustrating. I know people do it for the reaction, but it's frustrating nonetheless. Just wait until someone like Joey Cantillo or even Cal Quantrill. He's a talented guy. He was in the running for the number 1 overall pick when he was coming out of Stanford before he got hurt. And we all know the track record of Cleveland and pitchers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cal Quantrill turns into a very serviceable arm. First out of the bullpen. I believe he'll be out of the bullpen. That's where he mostly has been with the Padres. But in the coming years, I think they'll probably in the offseason, they'll stretch him out a bit. And coming spring training, I bet you he'll be trying to compete for a starting spot, if not go in the back end of the bullpen, but we need to wait before we decide the fate of a trade. And I know it's always about the reactions, but just take a step back. San Diego is going to get the better of this trade this year and next year most likely, because Mike Clevinger is a stud. But wait until these prospects start to reach the major leagues. If they do, obviously there's a chance that they don't. And then 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, we can actually see who won this trade. That's all I got to say about that. Next order of business. I want all of you who didn't want the expanded playoffs to apologize. Now, I'm still on board. I do not want the expanded playoffs next year, so long that we have an 162-game season. But in this 60-game season, where everything's already weird, we're going to be able to we're pretty much guaranteed San Diego, Chicago White Sox, and the Toronto Blue Jays all in the playoffs, and they're going to all at least get 2 games. If they get swept in the first round, they'll play 2 games. And those 3 teams are probably the most exciting teams in baseball at this point. Fernando Tatis Jr. is just lighting the world on fire. Luis Robert had a massive game yesterday, game-winning hit. And then Vladdy Jr. is starting to turn it around for my Jays. Bo Bichette's not even playing right now. Wait until he gets back in the mix. The Yankees are going down. Jays are trying to catch the Yankees right now. Watch out. I know most of my subscribers aren't too pleased with that. But like I said, Joey Cantillo teach Garrett Cole a couple things. But anyways, I'm so glad that we have the expanded playoff just to be able to put these young teams on center stage, and it will help kind of start creating fans of these young players and these young teams all around the country, I guess. Like, there's a bunch of Fernando Tatis Jr. fans on the East Coast now, right? So in that sense, like, being in the playoff picture has been really good for these teams, and I think even if they don't get past the first round, it's still going to be great experience for the future, because these teams aren't built for this year. Even with San Diego's major moves this year, that team is still built for the next 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And same with the Jays. They made some moves for like Jonathan VR, Ross Stripling, Robbie Ray, Taijuan Walker, but that team is still built for 3, 4, 5 years down the line. So getting into the postseason this year is going to be invaluable experience for these guys, and I'm just glad that the expanded playoff is here, because it just makes it so much fun. And another kind of thing off of that is kind of relating the 2 expanded playoffs and the trade deadline together, because we saw the Dodgers pretty much stay put, except with Ross Stripling, who wasn't helping the team anyways. We had Tampa Bay pretty much stayed put, except trading Jose Martinez, which that is a trade. They got Martinez in the offseason, and they traded away Matthew Liberatore. That is a trade that could look pretty bad for Tampa Bay. But, I mean, pretty much every trade Tampa Bay's done in their history has looked good. So somehow this is going to turn around for them. Anyways, Tampa Bay stayed put. New York stayed put. But teams like Toronto made a bunch of moves, and they're kind of at the back end of the playoff picture right now. They're playing really well, and they, like I said, they do have a chance to catch the Yankees at this point, especially who knows with the health of like Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. James Paxton. I think it shows like the way I see it is like normally a team on the fringe of the wild card in a regular season isn't necessarily going to make a bunch of moves because you're guaranteed one game. If you lose that game and you make a bunch of moves, then it's already over. If you lost, then it's done. But you're guaranteed you have a 3-game series if you're the Blue Jays. You have a 3-game series, and Hyunjin Ryu is one of your starters. So you have to think like we have a great chance to win one game, and then we need to take 1 out of 2. So just get a bunch of starters that have been good in the past. Like Robbie Ray's been great in the past. Ross Stripling has been great in the past. Taijuan Walker is injury riddled, but he's been pitching well this year. Like you're making those moves not only for the stretch run to maintain your standing in the playoff picture, but also who's hot, who's pitching well, who can get us a win behind Hyunjin Ryu. So that's kind of the dynamic for a team on the outskirts or right in the playoff picture, like Toronto is. Like in a normal year, they wouldn't make those moves at all because you're only guaranteed one game. But since you're guaranteed a 3-game series, Toronto is much more interested in making those kinds of moves. However, for a team like the Dodgers or the Rays or the Yankees, like you don't want to trade off your prospects for like a Lance Lynn, for example, because on their end, normally they would get a 5-game series right off the bat. But now you're only getting a 3-game series, which say for the Dodgers, the Dodgers could match up against Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati isn't in the playoff picture right now, but everyone's still so close in the NL. And say Cincinnati sneaks in to the 8th seed. You have to face Sonny Gray and Trevor Bauer. Your season could be over in 2 games. So you don't want to trade away top prospects for a guy like Lance Lynn or Clevinger because your season could be done in 2 games. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. Like the expanded playoffs lends more aggressive moves at the deadline for a team like Toronto compared to a team like the Dodgers in this different playoff format. Whereas in a regular season, where you're guaranteed a 5-game series, the Dodgers would most likely, I feel like the Dodgers would probably have made a somewhat big move. But then again, they haven't actually in the past. So who knows? Who knows? But I think it's definitely a weird dynamic. But I'm enjoying it because the Jays' main competition is Detroit. They're playing well. They recently just swept Minnesota, but I'm fairly confident that the Jays are going to be in the playoffs, and that's awesome. First time since 2016, so I'm excited for that. Do I have anything else? Anything else? No, I don't think so. But as we all know, for those of you that have listened in the past, this show is called Let's Go Streaking. So, actually, one more thing. Cardinals and Reds are playing today, and my good friend Kwang-hyun Kim is pitching. And if you follow this channel, my latest video is on Kwang-hyun Kim. So big, for those of you that watched, you'll know, but he kept forgetting to pick up his rosin bag. So a big what to watch for in baseball today is Kwang-hyun Kim going to keep forgetting to pick up his rosin bag, or is he going to finally remember to continue to do it on a regular basis? So that is a big what to watch for today. But anyways, like I said, The show is called. This show is called. What's it called? Let's Go Streaking. So to end every episode, I have to pick a streak. I don't know what streak I'm gonna do today. Matt Harvey's starting today. My streak today is just gonna be to guess a starting pitcher's. Actually, here, my streak today. What starting pitcher that is gonna give up more than 5 earned runs? The thing about Matt Harvey is he gonna be in the game long enough to give up 5 earned runs? Actually, I'm not gonna do Matt Harvey. I feel bad. His career ended after the Devil Magic Royals ruined his complete game in the World Series in 2015. So I'm going to do Ryan Weber. I mean, this guy's not good. So Ryan Weber's going to give up more than 5 earned runs today. That's my guess. That was a pretty bad streak. That's a bad streak, but whatever. What can you do? Anyways, that's about it. Enjoy your baseball today. Watch out for Kwang-hyun Kim. And if you are a betting man or woman, bet the Blue Jays today, because Miami had to fly to New York yesterday for a makeup game against the Mets, and they had to fly all the way back to Miami. So if you're a betting man or woman, bet the Blue Jays, and I promise you, you'll be a little richer today. So enjoy your baseball today and have fun with it. Ha 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 ha.